Welcome again. I'm Mayor Mike, and this is Alder Spotlight. With me now is the 7th District Alderperson, Mary Kneebone. Welcome, Mary.
Well, thanks for having me.
So tell me and our listeners where the 7th District is. You have one of the most unique boundaries of any of the alders. So generally speaking, what's the 7th District?
That's a really good question. I am a jigsaw puzzle enthusiast, so my district fits into that hobby. I have a section from Maine to Dixon,
Okay.
from Park Ridge to Minnesota. I have a little section across the railroad tracks on Patch, Bush, Sioux Marie.
Okay.
And then I run out Highway 10, varying sides depending on which one is Hull and
Okay.
which one isn't. And then I have a big chunk behind Holiday Inn, where I live, and a chunk behind Fleet Farm.
Okay. Yeah, so the map is available at stevenspoint.com, and you can see it's because you are that outskirts kind of boundary district. It's not exactly straight, and we're working on that with the town of Hull for a boundary agreement.
I tend to call ourselves the lost stepchild out there.
Yeah.
East of 39, we kind of get forgotten every once in a while. Not to say that that's always a bad thing.
Sure. So Mary Kneebone, how did Mary Kneebone come to Stevens Point? What's your history? Give us a background of what makes Mary Kneebone.
Boy, that's hard to do quick.
You were there, right?
Yeah, once in a while, occasionally, although it's getting harder and harder to remember. I came to Stevens Point in the fall of 1988,
Okay.
intending to start school at the spring semester at the College of Natural Resources in January 1989 at the ripe old age of 39 years old. Finished my degree here in resource management in 91. Then went to Madison for 2 years, got a master's degree in urban planning, and then headed to Dallas, Texas for 13 years, where I spent some of that time as a neighborhood planner with the city of Dallas. Loved Stevens Point, met the love of my life here. I'm originally from Madison, but Stevens Point's got it all.
Yeah, good.
So this is where we wanted to come back to.
Well, fabulous. So, and it's funny because that's a theme through all of the Alder Spotlights we've been doing is if they haven't lived here their whole life, they came here to visit and loved it so much that they decided to stay.
Indeed, I get emotional. It's a community.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about it is, you know your neighbors and everybody's friendly. And when there's a task to be done, people step up and say, hey, how can I help?
I think the storm we just had proves that.
That certainly did.
Every neighborhood, everybody I talked to, they were groups of neighbors.
Yeah. Helping each other out.
And
It's
you just don't
fabulous.
get that in a place like Dallas, Texas,
No, you certainly don't.
unfortunately.
So what made Mary want to be an alderperson?
Well, as I was getting close to retirement, you start to think, what do you really want to do with your time? And I thought that since I had been a city employee for the city of Dallas and an urban planner, I could use my experience and education and bring a unique perspective to the position. Having been a city employee, I understand what it's like for city staff.
Good.
Having
They
been,
appreciate that.
I definitely know what it's like to be out there in the spotlight, and always respected some of the alder people that we worked with and thought that it would be a way to give back to the community and use the experience and education I have.
Good. And one of the strong points I think that you bring to the table is that you like to be involved. You like to experience new things. You tour our departments so you know what you're making decisions on. You participate whenever offered on ride-alongs. You went through our Citizens Academy.
Best time I've had in 50 years.
You've toured the wastewater department.
Man, that's another great tour.
And it is, and you get involved, and I really admire that about you, is you understand that to make decisions for these people, you need to know what they're doing. You need to experience their job. And that helps make everyone better because you being a better alderperson because of it, and the fact that you know what city staff is going through, I think is a very unique perspective too, and I know that they appreciate it.
I remember one night in particular, we were working on a report for, Dallas had a weak mayor, strong city manager form of government. We were working on a report for the city manager, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and the assistant director and the director and I were arguing about the use of a comma in a sentence.
Okay.
And I said, is this
That's
really
government for you.
relevant? And he said, you want to feed my children if I lose my job? So even to argue about a comma, I get what it's like for a city staffer to be under a deadline. So I can appreciate that. And
Good. Well, as the 7th District representative, what do you see as the unique things about the 7th District and things that you hope to improve upon?
lucky 7.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got Texas Park and Iverson Park and Parkdale Park and Eastwood Park. We've got Fleet Farm and Frank's Hardware. I mean, and Cops and Hilltop and Matsuya. The challenge for us, particularly on the east side, is Highway 10. Most all of the districts, we have issues with infrastructure. I know some of the alleys down around the Frontenac, Ellis, Jefferson Street area are starting to deteriorate. No more so than any other in any of the other districts. You know, all those neighborhoods were built around the same time, and all the infrastructure kind of comes due at the same time. But I think all in all, the people in my district are pretty satisfied. I don't get a lot of complaints about things. People are willing to let me know if something's not right, or
There's
if they
never
support,
a shortage of that.
or
Yeah.
if they support something. I hear about that too. So
Well, I know, and a couple of things, you are very passionate in regards to your district, and I respect that a lot. Your passion for the parks, your passion to safe routes to school. I know that one of your initiatives is you have, and the name is escaping me, the school.
Bannock Elementary.
Bannock School. You are working very hard to try and get a safe walking route or biking route for those kids to get to school, because the houses there are kind of spread out. You want to talk a little bit about your thoughts behind that?
I live on the east side of Burlesky Road, and Bannock is on the west side down at the end of Walter Street. And the north side of Walter is Town of Hull, and the south side is District 7. A lot of the kids that go to Bannock live on my side of Burlesky and would like to, I think, ride or walk if they could. But it's not really safe. There's no sidewalks on Walter Street. So we were hoping to, and it is identified in our pedestrian, the sidewalk study plan, that it's a safe route to school route. So we'd like to see a walking path, maybe on the north side of Walter Street, that would tie into a bike path that Public Works did about 3 years ago on Burlesky to Walter, and then loop that over to Sandpiper and have a safe crossing, and then have kids be able to shoot down Sandpiper to go home. So
good.
it's pretty expensive though, and it's hard to say it's more important than any other infrastructure project. We're certainly willing to wait our turn. It's those hard decisions you have to make as mayor, as an alderperson. What's the priority? So.
Right. Well, and I think you understand that pretty well too, that everything has to be prioritized. There's a finite amount of money.
Indeed.
And each of these products are very important to certain people. But where do they fall in the grand scheme of citywide? Which leads me to my next question.
Uh-oh.
If as goals for the entire city, that's right. If we had a magic wand, and you could do anything you wanted to improve your community, what would you do?
I think I'd probably try to bring some kind of a mixed-use development out to the old COPS site on Highway 10.
Okay.
Infill some of the empty spots on Highway 10 with some good retail.
Okay.
We've got a pretty decent housing stock, but I'm sure there are homeowners that could use either no interest or low interest loans to do some repairs. Most of the inner parts of the city have sidewalk. We don't out east of 39, but I don't think that's needs to be a priority anytime soon. I'd like to see some kind of an indoor sports complex. That's why I think out by the old cop site would be a good place for something like that.
There you go. Good. Well, you know, that's a pretty detailed vision.
Be a big draw.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. We've got just a couple minutes left.
Okay.
If someone needs to get in touch with Alderperson Mary Kneebone of the 7th District, how can they do that?
Well, there's through the city website, of course.
StevensPoint.com.
I have a Facebook page, Kneebone District 7.
Okay.
I'm also listed in the Stevens Point phone book. I can give my phone number. My cell phone is 715-295-4689. And my email is maryknebonealder@gmail. Or now I think it's 7th District.
District 7.
District 7
District
now.
7 at StevensPoint.com.
Which
Nice and
is
easy
very
to remember.
smart.
Nice and easy to remember. We're working on phone numbers
Then
too,
it's
so they can translate.
Oh, well, that's good. Then it's consistent from year to year, and I think that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. Good. Well, Mary, let me close by saying that your smile is always infectious. I think there's been probably 2 or 3 times where I've not seen you smiling, and then I know I'm in trouble.
People with those flashing eyes fighting for something in my district.
That's probably right.
But
I appreciate you being with us today.
Oh, sure. It's nice to have the opportunity.
Good, good. And I want to remind people, too, that we also have available the Stevens Point app, which you can get on your iPhone or Android device, and that'll get you in touch with the alders as well as anything else going on at the city. StevensPoint.com is still available, and 105.9, our low-frequency or low-power radio station, is also available. This has been Alder Spotlight, and I'm Mayor Mike, and thank you once again, Mary Kneebone, 7th District, for joining us.
Thank you.